And good afternoon, and welcome to Straight Talk Drive at Five with Catherine Tyson. Wow, it's Wellness Wednesdays. Welcome to the show. Today we decided that on Wednesdays we were going to bring you some wellness tips and just talk about our health, and because our health really is our wealth. So, welcome everybody to the show. And I know you're on your way home or just getting out of the office and making sure that you get back to your second job, because usually when we get home we have a second job. I have a great guest today, and I can't wait to talk to her. I'll introduce her in a couple of minutes. But yeah, you don't want to miss this. We're going to be talking about mental health today, and that is so important as our physiological health. Just wanted to read this really quickly. Um, if being healthy is a natural state of being, how do you lose your health? When you allow stress to take the place of peace and calm, your body works harder to maintain itself. Over time, if the body is not allowed to replenish thoroughly, the stress becomes a lifestyle. The body starts to break down. We take health for granted until it escapes us. Staying healthy is a proactive choice. You can choose to have healthy thoughts, a healthy lifestyle, and a healthy environment. What do you commit to doing each day to stay healthy? Do you work out, eat for your body's nourishment, and maintain positive thoughts? How else do you focus on health? You can maintain a healthful balance. You have the power to maintain your health. And so we should be celebrating our body working in perfect harmony for its highest good. That there is just a little tip for you today on Wellness Wednesday. So, welcome to the show again. Let me welcome my guest who's in the studio with me today. And of course, we're streaming live. So if you're at home, you can also go and check us out on Facebook, and you'll be able to see my beautiful guest that I have today. So today I'm welcoming Dr. Chelsea, Dr. Walton. Which one are you being called?
Thank you. I go by Dr. Chelsea or Dr. Walton. I'm not particular about it.
Okay, great. So yeah, so welcome to the show. I'm so excited to just talk to you for different reasons.
Mm,
We also do a Thursday Success 101, and we talk to
okay.
our successful companions, young people who have just really done some great stuff with their life, and they can share and inspire other young companions or their parents who might be listening right now that your
Hmm.
kid can do it too. You just have to put the right stuff in, and it's going to happen. And so today is almost like a double whammy for me, to have you here to talk about health and wellness and everything, but also to talk about your journey. So let's first start talking a little bit about just our mental health and how necessary that is, especially in what we're dealing with right now.
Right. Yeah. So I think that that is a very underlooked component of our health is our mental health. We spend a lot of time, or some people spend a lot of time and effort and investment into, their physical health, maintaining that, eating right, exercising, making sure they're getting their regular screenings and whatnot, but will end up kind of neglecting their mental health. But mental health is health. It is important. It's part of the whole package. And if you don't take care of your mental health, it has ways of manifesting physiologically. So if that's the motivation for you, you want to maintain your physical health, then I would definitely recommend incorporating taking care of your mental health as part of that.
Absolutely. I completely agree. What you said with how it manifests itself
Hmm.
physiologically, it's so true. Like if you're not in your best frame of mind, or if things aren't happening, with you, you feel kind of off, you don't know why,
Right.
then all of a
Hmm.
sudden things just start happening to your body,
Yes.
and you're just not feeling your best. And it's because mentally, or what the place that you're at in your life right then, you're not happy. That's my
Hmm.
background as well. So these are my subjects I love to talk about, to take care of yourself mentally. But you know what's interesting is that when you started talking about people getting their screens and stuff, screening, that would be great. But
Hmm.
sometimes people don't do that. They want to look good. So they're spending a lot of money looking good. So
Right.
the outside's looking amazing. I'm getting my hair done, my nails
Hmm.
done, getting facials, whatever. But then I'm not really feeding my body properly.
Hmm.
I'm feeding it not just physical food, but mental food,
Right.
good thoughts,
Right.
surrounding myself with
Hmm.
good people. So how important is that to your well-being?
All of that is very important. nutrition, exercise, those are things that we generally understand to be important. That's kind of things that are embedded in us growing up. Eat your vegetables, go outside, run around, burn off some steam. um, but our environmental health is really important as well, because it has ways of um, becoming stressors in our life. If we're dealing with a particular difficult work environment or home environment where maybe there's a lot of conflict, that can in turn, exacerbate underlying mental health conditions that we have, or it can kind of be the root of mental health problems. So, for example, dealing with stress at work, it can easily kind of snowball into anxiety. Dealing with chronic stress, toxic stress, that has a way of kind of coming out psychologically, so that maybe we start becoming more anxious, we're more worried, nervous, we don't necessarily understand why, or we start experiencing things like a racing heart or sweaty, or start having digestive issues. Those can sometimes be a root of, or related to, the people that we have around us, conflicts, stressors, that are external.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Now, how does a young person like yourself
Mm.
decide this is the field that I want to be in? Like, when did that happen?
So that was a very gradual process. Um, I started out in undergrad studying business management. I always was a natural helper. I wanted to help people. I wanted to help them find solutions for their problems. So I was like, I guess what kind of came to mind was, okay, well, maybe I'll go into HR. I can help people at work, um, have a better work life. And so I went to university to study that. And then along the way, I was just kind of feeling like, this isn't really the right fit for me. And I had a friend that was studying psychology. And so then when she would talk about her degree and the classes that she was taking, it's like, I have this elective course. Maybe I'll take a psychology class. That sounds really interesting. And that was basically it. I was just like, this is fascinating. I want to learn more. I'd never been more motivated academically. And then from there, I just started to try to get more experience, clinical experience, to see if it was something that I really wanted to do and could get a better feel of what area I wanted to specialize in psychology. So that's how I started out. I didn't go to university with the intentions of becoming a psychologist, but it happened along the way.
Yeah, which is how things work
Yes.
sometimes, right? Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, my story is kind of similar in a way. Like, I wanted to, originally in school, high school, I wanted to be a child psychologist. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, that was there. And then as I got older, I was like, oh, maybe I just want a quick fix. I just want something quick so I can get into that. And then
Right.
starting that,
Mm-hmm.
then it kind of segued into, all right, if I'm going to put my time and energy into this, why don't I not do what I want to do?
Mm-hmm.
But I was kind of driven because of problems, right? Like people having problems or me having problems, and how do you figure it out? So the kind of figuring it out was a big part of, sending me in the direction of, wanting to help people, but to
Right.
understand what they were going through,
In
or
order
to,
to help them.
yeah, to try
Mm-hmm.
to, just help them find the answer, because you're really trying to help people find the answer for themselves,
Right.
because the answer looks different
For
for different
everyone.
people.
Yes,
Exactly. And
absolutely.
it's not you to give them the answers, but it's for the answer that work for their life.
Right. So we're more so kind of facilitators
Exactly.
rather than the problem solver. Because
Yeah.
that's kind of my philosophy, is that people have the answers for themselves. Sometimes it just, you just need someone that's there to kind of help guide you and help you unearth what the solution is for your problems.
Right. Yeah.
Hmm.
I had a teacher that just gave me this great analogy. She said, "So what I do as a therapist, I just help bring the problem into the middle of the room
Hmm.
so you can take a look at it."
Yes.
So that's all I'm doing. I'm just helping you bring it here, and now we're both looking at it, and now
Hmm.
we can both kind of work on what you need to do to solve it. I was
Right.
like, that is brilliant because
Yes,
it's
that's
the truth.
powerful.
And sometimes, right, sometimes it's so deep within yourself and you just don't know. It's like
Hmm.
you feel that thing. Women talk about gut feelings and all of
Hmm.
that, but it's like, if I'm able to help you just bring that out, take a look at it now and say, oh my goodness, okay, so here's what I can do, or here's what I haven't been
Hmm.
doing, or it's like,
Right.
there's the answer. And I think for counseling and therapy, a lot of people are afraid afraid of it or
Mm-hmm.
taboo, talk about people from the islands or,
Yes.
our Caribbean, people or men thinking, oh, no, 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 I don't need that. Actually, everybody needs it. It's
Right.
it's it's just like, going to get a health checkup.
Mm-hmm.
It's, if there's something going on with you, like, yeah, that it's just you facilitating what's going on and finding the answer so that you can live your best life.
Exactly. I
Yeah,
completely agree with you. There is a lot of stigma, and I can appreciate that coming from Cayman. It's a new field here. Really, it's really starting to grow and take off, and we have more providers than ever at this point
which
in
is
time. And
great.
there's more education and there's more advocacy, and those are the things that help to normalize seeking mental health treatment. Um, but I can appreciate, Cayman is small. People are concerned about, oh, well, is this person going to talk my business, or
Right,
are they going to see me going into here and think that I'm mad?
right.
So we understand why, but we just need more education and advocacy along the way so that people feel comfortable reaching out.
Absolutely. And I can say, so one thing on that, I'll say, you know, for in terms of a professional, if there is a professional on island that's a trained counselor
Mm-hmm.
or a trained therapist, a psychologist, I can tell like the listening public, like that is the last thing you need to worry about is them talking your business because there's a code of ethics that these people, and I'm one of those people, right, that
Right.
that they live by, that it's ingrained in our
Mm-hmm.
study, it's ingrained in our life. It absolutely is so inappropriate. And most of the I can almost I'll put my head on a chopping block. They're not talking your business. Like
Yes.
generally, if you hear your business somewhere, you told someone or someone told someone and that's where it came from, but it's not from that qualified professional that's there to help you. So
Right.
you can just like knock that thought out of your head that somebody's going to know my business because it's not going to happen. That
Right.
is absolutely, I'm absolutely certain of that.
Yes.
My
So.
background is in social work and counseling. Forget it, it's not going to
Mm-hmm.
happen. So put your mind at ease. If you're experiencing a problem or anything, you can find someone to talk to and not be worried about who's going to hear your business. Not from that person.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. You were bound by a code of ethics and legally
Absolutely.
bound to protect your confidential information. There are very few cases where we would have to talk to anyone else about it. And that's usually when it pertains to safety
Right.
and protecting the client.
Exactly.
But otherwise, your therapist or counselor is not going to be the person gossiping
No.
about you.
No. And if you have an issue, if you're
Mm-hmm.
if you're experiencing an issue yourself, the last thing that you also, this is my second point, the last thing you also need to be worried about is what someone's thinking about you going to get help.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you need to stop worrying about what people are thinking. What you need to be worried about is getting yourself help. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, we focus a lot because it's a small place. So we focus a lot on what someone's going to think about me.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what you think about you is the most important thing.
Right.
And if you're not where you need to be, you need to get there.
Mm-hmm.
And so
It's part of the journey.
whatever you need to do, like if I got to go in Foster's to pick up some stuff, I don't care. You're watching me, that's your business. Mind your business. I'm going to get my stuff. Because other than that, I'm going to go home and not have what I needed.
Right, exactly.
So I'm going to stop because you're watching me. I'm
Mm-hmm.
sorry. Like,
That's not gonna happen.
exactly. You
Mm-hmm.
almost have to act like you're in a big city,
Right.
and just
Mm-hmm.
just do what you need to do.
Find ways of kind of blocking that out,
Absolutely.
and just despite, someone might see you going here or there, you still need to do what you need to do at the end of the day for yourself,
Yeah,
even if it is
exactly.
hard.
Yeah, I was training a class last week, and I guess the hot words of the day was, it's not the business. It's not your business. And so the class at some point they were like, not your business. I was like, exactly, you got it. It's not your business. Mind your business. Stop worrying about people's business.
Just internalize that message.
That's
Everyone just mind their
just
own
mind your
business.
business. Just stay about your business. Exactly. And I think we'd be farther ahead if we were able to do that. And so mental health, just
Hmm.
like our physical health, is our own business.
Right.
And so we need to be in the business of taking care of ourselves. And what's even better about having that mentality is that you're teaching your children to
Hmm.
take care of themselves. You're teaching your children taboos that we were
Hmm.
raised with or whatever, but now we're kind of breaking that
Right.
cycle. And that I love, right? Communicating more with your
Hmm.
children, having those open lines of discussions and that you're not bottling things up inside.
Mm-hmm.
Because what we just experienced and still are in, in the midst of it is really, really a big thing,
It is.
and the whole world is experiencing it. So, how are we taking care of ourselves during this time and taking care of each other as a community? So, what are
Mm-hmm.
some of the things that you're seeing that you think that you might be able to shed some light on?
Okay, so some of the things that I've been seeing is a lot of anxiety. This situation is like food for anxiety, all the uncertainty, all the unpredictability. It's indefinite. We can't pinpoint any time that, it's going to be over at this time. We're just kind of going from day to day
Right.
learning, also knowing that the experts are learning as they go as well. And all of that uncertainty is really hard for people that are dealing with anxiety. So it just really exacerbates it. Also, as well, having been in lockdown for all of those months, the isolation has increased depression. We really need social support. And I think now more than ever, we see that, right? Children being pulled out of school where their friends are and their activities are, or maybe, their teacher, their counselors, their source of support for them. That's been really hard for people as well.
Absolutely, for
Hmm.
sure. Now, I was thinking about, people not being able to travel. And so,
Right.
what are some of the alternatives you think that people can do as they're
Hmm.
struggling with, just life as it is? Because
Hmm.
life as it is very different than what it was. Like I've struggled with that because I used to travel a lot. So
Right.
I'm just like, when am I going
You
to
have
ever
travel
be able
bug.
to, yeah, when
Hmm.
am I going to ever be able to travel as before or not have to be in quarantine when I come back? And it's beyond my control, right?
Right.
So what do you say? Like, what are some of the things that you think that people can do?
Well, to that, I would suggest, just acknowledging that it is a difficult time. It is hard to not be able to travel, especially if that's something you're used to, and that's something that you're passionate about. Find ways of um, getting that feeling from being on island. So maybe kind of the novelty or the newness of traveling is something that a lot of people who like to travel appreciate. So maybe trying something new, maybe go, if you spend all your time West Bay, go to East End, drive around, visit some restaurants up there, stop, take photos, just pretend like you're a tourist, just to have that sense of disconnection from kind of the day-to-day hustle, and to give yourself an opportunity to kind of recharge your batteries and refresh. Like, we do live in one of the most beautiful places in the world, not biased at all. I mean, people are dying to come here, and for a reason. So all of those reasons that we know that people want to come to Cayman for, let's try to enjoy that and take advantage of that, because
Yeah.
we are blessed to be locked down in a very beautiful country.
Yeah, that's true, huh? Because
Mm-hmm.
I have like a hashtag on my Instagram, stuck in paradise.
Right, like poor us.
Exactly. But that was a
Mm-hmm.
really great idea. Go to Stingray City then, right?
Yeah,
Go to the Crystal Caves, like whatever. If it's still open, go to Botanical Park. Like literally,
exactly.
put that on your list. Like every Sunday, I'm going to do this, or every Saturday, I'm going to do this, so that you're
Mm-hmm.
getting to know your island, but you're doing something that's different. That's true. That's a good.
Right.
I would put that down on my list.
Okay. I
Yeah.
suggest trying it. I did it the other weekend, just, take some time off. I did a staycation, and I was kind of hesitant about it because I was like, oh, I don't know if this is really going to do much for me. I'm still in Cayman. I know that. But just having that separation from everyday life and home, if you're at home, even if you're off, you're not going to rest, because
You're
there's
cooking,
always, you're
cleaning, you're
cooking, you're
doing
cleaning, there's stuff
something.
to do.
Yeah.
Um, but if you have the means and you can go on a staycation, do that. Take advantage of those things that we wouldn't normally do.
That's such a good idea.
Yeah.
That's a great idea. So there you go. So that was our staycation plug, or behave like a tourist plug,
Behave like a
vacation
tourist plug.
plug.
Hmm.
Absolutely. I think, yeah, that's really a good idea. Because we really do have to kind of keep our brain
Hmm.
healthy, keep our
Yes.
mind healthy, or we'll end up in that space. And I
Hmm.
think a lot of people that end up in that space, they don't know like how to get out of it.
Right.
They don't know, like, what do I do?
Hmm.
So, surround yourself with good people,
Right. That
right?
is so important as
Connect with
well.
the people in your life that maybe you disconnected from because
Hmm.
everybody's so busy working. There's a lot of work that's a little laid back more than it was before.
Hmm.
It's business as usual, but there's still some opportunities
Right.
there.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think so.
Things aren't completely back to the grind. It seems like, people are still, some people are still working from home, maybe working from home part time. So, if you have maybe a little bit more flexibility, then take that time to reach out to others that you normally wouldn't have time to if you were kind of in the day to day grind. And, let other people reach out to you as well. Be open to that, open to reconnection, and supporting other people, and allow other people to support you as well.
Yeah. And this is also a good time maybe to reinvent yourself too.
Hmm.
Right? So to start thinking about, I've heard people talk about a business, like I want to start a business. Like maybe there are opportunities that have occurred because of COVID,
Right.
right? So, I've heard about a home based bakery business that's like
Hmm.
flourishing now.
Oh,
And so,
awesome.
yeah, like really like cake decorating and stuff. And it's just like growing
Hmm.
on Instagram. It's a friend of mine. I didn't even know it was her because the name of the company.
It's different.
And
Hmm.
yeah, and she said it really is something that's was growing ever since COVID. So that's really good. But also, yeah, just reinvent yourself, starting something new. A
Hmm.
lot of people that are displaced in terms of their work, maybe it's an opportunity to go into another field,
Right.
to get some training, to get some, because the class I was training for DOT, like
Hmm.
displaced DOT workers and stuff. So, or workers that were in the tourism industry.
Right.
And so that was
Hmm.
something that they were very excited. They were like, I'd never done this. I drove a taxi for 10 years. I would
Hmm.
never come to a course like this. This is awesome.
Right. It seems like
So,
there are still opportunities out there. You just have to be open minded
yeah.
and willing to be creative and
Yeah.
give it a chance.
Yeah, definitely. Just to, one of the ladies that was in the class, she was very dressed very nicely, and I said, "You look nice today." Like we were talking about, it was a first impression class, and
Hmm.
I said, "So what was your decision when you put on your clothes today?" She says, "I have nowhere to wear them." So I said, "I'm gonna wear my clothes." I said, "Look at that,"
Hmm.
like that was it. Like I have nowhere to wear my clothes, so
Right. Just wear your clothes and right.
and so that's just like something that's an extra boost for me. So I thought,
Hmm.
wow, that's really, a great idea. So yeah, this is an opportunity, for us to really just rethink some things,
Yes.
but if
Totally
someone's
agree.
really kind of depressed,
Hmm.
what would you say to them?
I would say that, it's okay to seek support from professionals. That's what we're trained to do, help individuals when they're going through difficult times. If you're feeling down, try to remember the reasons why you keep going from day to day. Try to generate some hope for yourself, and just don't be afraid to get support if you need it. Reach out to people that love and care about you. And sometimes when people are depressed, it's hard for them to remember that there are people who love and care about them. Um, but just do not hesitate to seek support. Don't expect that it's something that's just going to kind of blow over and you should just wait it out. Um, get active about fighting back against the depression.
Yeah, and
Hmm.
it's gonna be better. It's gonna get
Yes.
better. Like
Right.
always know that too, right? Stay in
Right.
that. You mentioned the word hope, and I
Right.
think hope is such a big,
Hmm.
a big reality. When you can find that hope, then
Yes.
like, okay, this is a moment right now. This is a moment that's happening, but the moment's gonna pass, and
Hmm.
sometimes the moments are a little longer.
Longer for sure. It's, I kind of think about it as like waves. Like, when you're going through depression, there are times when the waves are going to swell and they're going to be a little scarier, larger, harder to conquer, but the wave will decrease in size. And, think of it as like surfing. Like, you don't have to stand up on your board. It's not the time for you to do the most that you could possibly do, but you just kind of need to ride the wave out and trust that, your feelings are like a visitor. You can allow them to come and allow them to go. But along the way, if you need someone to kind of be there with you, then definitely, you know, reach out and get that support for yourself.
Absolutely. You are listening to Dr. Chelsea Walton. This is Straight Talk Drive at 5. I am Catherine Tyson, your new host. I'm kind of getting old now because I've been here a little while. Not in age that I've been got there, but and we're talking about just, mental health, really, as opposed to just your physical health. So, Wellness Wednesdays, we want to talk about our health overall. And so
Hmm.
we're chatting today with Dr. Chelsea Walton, who is actually at the Wellness Center. I'm going to read a little bit about your bio here. So,
Okay.
Dr. Chelsea is a clinical psychologist who specializes in the assessment and treatment of children, adolescents, and families. She received her, is that PsyD? What would you call that?
Psyche, yeah.
PsyD in clinical psychology from Nova Southeastern University. Is that in Florida? Yeah,
In Fort Lauderdale,
is
yeah.
date of Florida.
Hmm.
Okay, an APA accredited clinical psychology program. I went to FAU, which was around the
Oh
corner
yeah,
for
right
one of
around the
them.
corner. I know
Yeah,
exactly where.
yeah, exactly. She has experience in conducting comprehensive psychological evaluations for children and adolescents with a range of neurodevelopmental and psychological concerns. She's experienced also in providing evidence-based, culturally sensitive treatment to children, adolescents, and families to address difficulties related to mood and anxiety disorders, behavioral issues, social challenges, and tic disorders. Additionally, she has experience providing therapeutic intervention to adults with chronic mental health difficulties such as affective and thought disorders, post traumatic stress, and personality disorders. Dr. Chelsea provides individual and family psychotherapy and, when appropriate, works closely with physicians, teachers, schools, and the community to achieve the best treatment outcomes for her clients. And she is a young Caymanian. She is a young, amazing Caymanian. And I have to put that in there because I'm so very proud of you, Chelsea,
Thank
and
you.
so many of our young people
Hmm.
that, you know, you're doing the thing, and I love that. I love it. You guys are taking the baton from us, and that is exactly what you need to do.
Hmm.
We are here to support you, but we are so proud of you, and we want all of you. We want all of you to win. All of you to win. So, that you're just, this is hashtag winning for me. I love that. And congratulations. You just got back home not so long ago. How long have you been home now?
So I've been home just over a year.
Okay, just
Hmm.
over a year. So, and you've been at the wellness center for how long?
I've been at the wellness center since July of
Okay.
this year.
And so what were
Hmm.
you doing before that? Just kind of settling in?
So before that, I was finishing up my program, and then that ended in August of 2019, and that perfectly coincided with when I had my son.
Okay.
So I just took the last year off to kind of be with him and spend
Okay.
time with him, take care of him, before entering the field full time.
Nice.
Yes.
Okay. And so, yeah, so that's what you're doing every day. And so you're seeing a variety of
Hmm.
clients, obviously, children,
Right.
families, couples. You're doing a
Hmm.
lot of different counseling over there. And if anybody wanted to reach out to you, how could they reach out to you? We're going to come back and talk to you some more, but I just wanted to plug that for somebody
Okay,
who might be listening now, that
for
wanted to talk to you.
sure.
How would they be able to contact you?
Yeah, so you can reach out to me through my email. That's cwalton@wellnesscenter.ky, or through the main line at Wellness Center, which is 949-9355.
All right,
Mm-hmm.
great. So good stuff. And that's literally just somebody helping you facilitate what's going on inside, getting it to the middle of the room. Everybody gets a chance
Mm-hmm.
to look at it. I just love that. I love that was a professor of mine.
I
It
love
was
that
just
analogy as well.
right. It was amazing. She's just like, yeah, you when you talk about elephants in the room,
Mm-hmm.
she's like, because when that elephant's out, you cannot ignore him. I loved it, and she had been in the field for so long. But yeah, that's it. That's it. Like if you have, a need to talk with somebody about
Mm-hmm.
something's going on, we understand that's exactly what might be happening right now. It's a tough time for all of us,
Right.
but you
Absolutely.
pull on on the resources that you have, and
Mm-hmm.
don't shy away. Don't think like there's something wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with
No.
you. There's something wrong if you don't figure out what's going on with you.
Right. No,
Yeah.
it's the circumstances is
Yeah.
creating a lot of stress for a lot of people.
Yeah.
So it's completely normal to feel kind of disoriented or anxious or down during this time. We're seeing a lot of that. So always
Yeah.
reach out if you're struggling in that
Yeah.
way.
And just know that it's okay, and know that,
Mm-hmm.
it's normal to do that, and to, really just be inspired to get to the bottom of your stuff so you can get get back to living. Because I always say that, like, get the stuff out of the way so you can get back to
Mm-hmm.
life. Like life is
Yes.
waiting on you. So we'll be back with more. Just stay tuned. We're still chatting Wellness Wednesday. See you in a minute. And welcome back to Straight Talk, a Drive at Five. This is Wellness Wednesdays, and this is Catherine Tyson. And I'm here with Dr. Chelsea Walton, and we're talking about mental health wellness. And of course, when we talk about wellness, we want to make sure that we're always including our mental health because that is so important for sure, right? And so yeah, Dr. Chelsea Walton, she is a clinical psychologist at the Wellness Center currently, and she treats a lot of different areas in the community and provides a lot of different type of therapeutic support, right? For
Mhm.
sure.
Yes, I'm a bit of a generalist.
Yeah.
So I'm able to do a bit of everything, working with different populations, child, adolescent, adults, doing assessment, also doing therapy and different types of therapies as well. So,
Okay. All right. That's good stuff. Now I want to remind everybody before we get back to the conversation about some upcoming things for the older persons month. Don't forget that walkabout that's going to happen on Saturday. It's a Georgetown walkabout. It starts at the public library at 9 o'clock in the morning. It goes from 9 to 4. So just check in at the public library, and it's basically walking about Georgetown and just giving you a tour of different stops. They're stopping at different places, historical places in Georgetown. Sounds like it's going to be amazing. So get your older person that's in your life and take them with you. And yeah, take the young children as well. And it can be an intergenerational thing. So don't forget to do that. And the Life Stories video 4 is coming on Thursday as well. So that'll be tomorrow, and that's going to be on CIGTV at 6:30 p.m. You can also look back and find the other ones because it's been like 3 videos before that, and just showing life stories of some of our seniors in the community. And I think that's going to be really, really good. So check that out. Don't forget, but that walkabout, I think I want to get involved with that walkabout. That sounds really, really interesting. There was a poem that I think Miss Paulinda yesterday was trying to read, but she didn't get through it. And so I'm going to go ahead and read that. That's from Nasaria Suku Shalet. And she actually kind of commissioned it for the Older Persons Month. Take me back to the past, Mama, and teach me olden ways. Take me back to the past, Papa, and Tell me about those days. Tell me all about climbing Cliff Rock. Tell me your stories true. Paint me a picture so vibrant and clear so I'll never forget to remember you. Like how bush and trees were everywhere. That's why cool breeze was a common thing. How caring for grounds from early morn would determine what harvest would bring. How sand dance and kitchen dance were two different things. How to make a plant and trash bed. Why it's best to pick tops on a full moon night, and how to pick cotton for a pillow for my head. Sit me under the dew plum tree and tell me how people would share, how trading and battering was a way to make sure that no one's plate was bare. Take me down to the bay this eve and tell me your adventures at sea. Tell me all so I can be resilient and strong as that majestic ironwood tree. Tell me all about our heroes, Pa, before we knew what a hero was. Tell me about hard work, meager times, and how they were still filled with love. Tell me about birth and death, Ma. Tell me about pinking the sheets. Tell me those old African words that your Ma taught you to speak. Show me how to use bush to heal and how to be creative as you. Teach me how to thatch, innovate, and sow and build a nation on make do. Teach me your prayers and to have no fear. Make me to rise with the sun. Teach me to ride the sky and stars. Teach us, your daughters and sons. For comes a time when all will lead, we can be heroes anew, when we will captain the ship Cayman and keep our culture true. With you and your stories as our roots, we will rise up with honor and faith. So write me all your stories in sand so your footsteps we can retrace. And that was called Tell Me by Nasaria Sakushalet. And you can find that on YouTube. Just put in Tell Me and Nasaria Sakushalet's name, and it's also a video. So thank you so much for that. I think that was beautiful, wasn't that?
That was really beautiful. It just conjured so much imagery about the olden days, which I wasn't a part of, but kind of the things that the stories that we're told by our grandparents that are passed down about what their lives were like and our rich Cayman heritage and values. So yeah, that was really powerful. I love that.
Yeah, I'm sure. And also, hopefully, you had grandparents that you
Mm-hmm.
remember that
Yes.
told you these stories as well, or would tell you some stories. Because
Mm-hmm.
you still have grandparents around now. Yeah.
I have one
Okay.
grandparent that's still alive.
Is that your grandma,
That
grandpa?
is my grandfather on my mom's side.
Okay. All
But my
right.
other three have passed now at this point. But
Okay. But
mhm.
you remember sitting with them and
Yeah, and they're
yeah.
talking about, what it was like coming up and even like my dad, which you know him pretty well, will tell stories about what it was like growing up in Cayman, and that is a completely different
Time.
Cayman than I grew up
Absolutely.
in. And when I think about what Cayman is now, it's a complete like difference from then to now. But
Oh
it's
yeah.
nice to remember where we're
Yeah.
coming from.
For sure. We're getting to that.
Hmm.
But your dad's a grandpa?
Yes, he is.
I'm sorry to be laughing.
He goes
I,
by Pops.
if he's listening, I know he must think how ridiculous Catherine is laughing at him because I don't think we still think we're so young.
Yeah, no, but
So now he's
grandpa,
somebody's.
and
He's
he's probably
somebody's pops
listening in right now, thinking like, how did I get brought into this?
because you're a papa. And so you have to tell the stories now. That's all we're going to say to you,
Mm,
because yeah, my grandmother told me all these stories. I loved her stories. I
mm,
loved to sit down and just listen to her. And sometimes here's the thing, right? It's so funny, and this was a long time ago, but I remember like I loved her stories so much that I'd just sit somewhere in the room whenever she'd be telling it to
mm-hmm.
someone. I swear telling it to me enough, but
Just
it
to
wasn't to
hear
me.
it.
And
Yeah.
I would now comment, and that's how she knew I was in the room. And they would be like, "You get out of here." So I started to learn, don't comment, just
Right.
sit quietly so you can hear the stories. But
Mm-hmm.
it's funny because if she told the story again and again, it would change. And so I'd be like, "No, he didn't do that." You remember? And she's like, "You get out of
Right,
here."
calling her out on her story. Oh my word.
Exactly. But just reading that poem and able to go back to those days when we do remember, like your dad, your mom, me, and
Mm,
our schoolmates, we remember the different types of plums that Cayman had. you
Mm-hmm.
know, like the Jew plum and I call it Jew plum and the hog plum. And, you know, it's so
I
many
haven't even
different,
heard of
trust
half of
me.
those,
Oh
so
my God. My favorite is the hog plum. If anybody ever know where one of those trees are, let me know. And I think it grows wild, you know, but it's
really
so many different variations like of these plums. And it's just
had no clue.
such a rich
Mm,
heritage for me to remember. So just thinking about that is therapeutic,
yes.
right? And being
Mm-hmm.
able to connect with our ancestors and being
Mm-hmm.
able to connect with our older people in the community, those are things that can help heal us. So if
Mm-hmm.
someone is struggling even right now during this period in our lives, find an older person that
Right.
you've not seen in a while or that you've
Mm-hmm.
not connected to because maybe they're home, they're not as mobile as before.
Yes.
So put them on your list to
Mm-hmm.
go visit,
Right, and then you
right?
can brighten up their day, right?
Brighten
You
up their
lean
day,
on each other. I'm
brighten up
sure
their
they'd love
day.
to have a visitor, if
Absolutely.
they're not mobile and they're at home, you can, in the same way that you can kind of get from spending time with them, you're kind of paying that forward as well by
Absolutely.
spending time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you're brightening their day, but funny enough, they brighten yours.
Yes.
That's the thing. They brighten
Mm-hmm.
yours. So like just think about that. So the people, you know, the listeners, think about the people that you can think of right now that might need a visit or could use a visit, or take them a little cake or take them
Right.
something, a little peppermint candy or something.
Mm-hmm.
Just go sit down with them, and this will help you through this period as well. Because right now, this period of uncertainty, we don't know when the doors are going to be open, right? We don't know what's next. We don't know how
Mm-hmm.
long it's going to be. I talked to Dr. Lee last week, and I think
Mm-hmm.
he mentioned like he thinks that this is probably going to maybe next year this time,
Right.
that things are are not going to be opened as immediate as we think because of what's happening in the
In the
rest of the
world,
world.
yes.
So England has had so many cases every day that are
Mm-hmm.
occurring of COVID. America, different places of the states. So for us to to just be cognizant of, we're not going to be able to just go into these places and come back home like normal like before, because now we're going to put our own community that's doing really well
Mm-hmm.
at risk.
Right.
So it's the bigger picture, right? So
Mm-hmm.
even though we might be frustrated about some things, so to find alternatives, to kind of
Yes.
keep our mind healthy. So
Mm-hmm.
that was
And
it.
I think
Go ahead.
also, just being mindful, just trying to stay in the present and trying not to get too ahead of yourself or live too much in the past, just being aware of kind of what's going on with you internally as well, like how you're thinking about things, how you're feeling, and just try to find ways to stay grounded. That can help so much as well with dealing with really difficult feelings or anxiety, and just focus on kind of what is within your realm of control, and if that's just taking care of your health, trying to avoid certain environments that are not good for you, then do those things, but just focus on what you can control at this time, and just putting one foot ahead of the other,
Yeah,
because the bigger picture can feel pretty overwhelming, and we feel like we're just a speck in the grand scheme of it all. So it's just really important to kind of bring it back down, to center.
absolutely.
Mm,
Yeah, and to know that the world's still turning. It's
yes.
still turning,
Mm-hmm.
and progress is happening.
Right.
Even though we can't feel it or we can't see it, like it's still happening in our lives. And we're so blessed. So instead of
Mm-hmm.
thinking of what we don't have, to think of what we do have. So
Mm-hmm.
making that list. Because sometimes when we're focused on the thing that we've lost or the thing that we don't have, that becomes so big. And the
Right.
thing that we have that's sitting right there, we're not even paying attention to it.
Right. We're not even able to like enjoy that, or practice gratitude.
Right.
So yeah, I think it's really important to try to see things from a balanced point of view, and to be realistic. It's okay that these negative things are going on, but there are also positives happening as well. How can we shift our focus at times to those? It's going to be a little bit more helpful for us to think about the positive things.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And what are some of the positives that we can think about? Our weather. We have beautiful
Yes,
weather.
we do. I think also thinking about how much our community came together during the lockdown is just really wonderful. You know, people started looking out for other people that, lost their jobs or maybe didn't have enough to eat. People really showed up for one another and helped
Right.
each other. You know, if you had someone in your family that, was older, more at risk, or wasn't able to get out, other family members then started to take care of that person and make sure that they were all right. We really started to realize how interconnected we are.
Right.
And I'm hoping that that's something that can continue after all of this, really
Right.
leaning on one another, supporting one another, being kind and compassionate to one another.
Yeah, for sure.
Hmm.
So I have a positive that happened during COVID. I learned how to play dominoes. I didn't know
Really? You didn't
before.
know before?
No.
That
I
is
mean,
a
I
positive.
was just fooling around before,
Yeah.
but now I'm a shark. I'm
Yeah.
not
Now you know
playing.
how to do it. Okay.
Yeah, I'm reading hand. I'm doing all kinds of stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
I got a domino table made. So we were
Okay,
just
nice.
dominoing like all every day, all day. It's to get dark doing dominoes,
Yeah,
and
that.
yeah, because you were kind of in the house, so it was
Mm-hmm.
like, what else do we do?
Right, you find ways of entertaining yourself
It was
and
great.
spending time with whoever else is there and trying to connect in that way. I think one of my positives from lockdown was I don't think I've ever spent so much time walking. Just like
That too,
I just maximized whatever our allowance was for the day
right?
walking around outside because there was nothing really else that we could do.
Yeah,
So yeah, just being outside and being mindful, being aware of, the trees, and also seeing so many other people doing that as well was
right.
really nice. Now that things have kind of picked back up, you don't see people out jogging and walking as much, but I think that was one of the positives for me
Yeah,
during the lockdown.
that's funny. I have four mango trees in my yard, and so I
Mm-hmm.
generally take a lot of joy in sharing these mangoes, right?
Mm.
And they come at different times. So I have like a Julie, a Valencia Pride, a Namduk, and a Carrie.
Wow,
And so
lucky you.
yeah, four different types. And when I got the house, it had two
Yeah.
trees, and two
Mm-hmm.
trees were planted after. And so it was tough during that time because that's when they were ripening. So I kept leaving mangoes by the road a lot for people to
Oh,
come and
that's
get.
nice.
Yeah, so I had people like, I'm gonna pick it up, and
Mm-hmm.
so with the mask, and I'm by the door, like by the window, like, okay, it's right there. It's just I would just praying like wash the mangoes because
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, it's such a big thing for me during mango season to share these mangoes. So hundreds of mangoes were shared
Wow,
during
that is
that very
awesome.
creatively.
And we had a very bountiful mango
Oh my.
season
Oh
in
my.
general.
Yes, my Valencia Pride tree in the front is a later bloomer, so that
Okay.
blooms around July, June,
Mm-hmm.
July, and it almost was proving something to me. Like it literally at the most, and they're huge mangoes, and they're beautiful. Like when I think of a beautiful mango, I think of
Mm-hmm.
the perfect mango. I always think of this tree because it's so beautiful, and it just looks like that should be what the tropics are. Like like
Mm.
just being able to pick a mango off the tree
Yes.
that's like how much pounds and it's still holding on well. It's beautiful, orange and
Mm-hmm.
red and yellow, and it's going to feed you because it's so big.
Right.
And the tree I felt was proving a point to us like, listen, it's going to be okay.
Right.
I just felt like that's what that tree did.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just have relationships with these trees, which is crazy. Like, I take it very personal, but they literally just pushed through and said, it's going to be okay. Like, see, this is normal, right? I'm still
Mm-hmm.
here. I'm still bearing. I'm still providing, and you give to your friends, and it's going to be okay. And to me, like I was just trying to stretch and reach for
Yes.
whatever little, little
Little glimmer of hope
glimmer of
and
hope,
and optimism.
joy.
Yeah.
I had the mango trees speaking to me.
Grandmother Willow from
Right,
Pocahontas, pretty much.
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
That's your error. Remember? That's
Yep.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Like listen to your heart. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
gonna be okay. And so every time I went to eat a mango, it was just like in reverence, almost like
Mm-hmm.
yes, you're
Things
doing
are
it.
gonna be
You're sharing that.
okay.
Like you calm down, Catherine. It's gonna be okay.
Yeah, who knew that the mango is gonna be the symbol of hope for 2020?
Yeah, and just healing, just to
Mm-hmm.
calm you, just like
Yes.
it's gonna be okay. And then the walking helped because I was eating
Yeah.
a lot of those mangoes. I was
It's
like, let,
balance.
let me not come out of COVID with a problem, you know. So every day it's like three or four from different trees. So yeah, it was getting serious.
Oh my, that's too
I had to
funny.
start giving them away at that point. Like, come get some of these mangoes, please.
Hmm.
But yeah, no. So whatever it is that you need to do, like you said, reconnecting with people,
Yes.
finding an elderly person,
Hmm.
um, finding a family who needs help, finding
Right.
someone, people's children. People want you to help them with their children,
Hmm.
you know, because their children were all home for the
Right.
longest time, so
That's really hard for kids too, just being cooped up and being
oh my,
completely, taken out of their routine.
yeah, their life
Hmm.
completely
Yeah.
changed. Completely changed. I mean, some children, they go to school for that free lunch,
Yes.
I mean,
Hmm.
that the government might provide. And
Right.
so now they're home, and were we kind of being aware that maybe they didn't have that lunch during the
Hmm.
day. So just imagine, like, their entire life was kind of turned upside down. So how do we ensure that we connected, and we're keeping connected, as opposed to sitting in this place where we're just frustrated and
Hmm.
angry about what we cannot control. So I think that's
Hmm.
what it is. The bottom line is we cannot control it.
Right.
So, what are some of the things that you would say to someone to kind of keep their mind healthy? Like if they said, "I don't know what to do. Tell me, what should I do? I can't seem to feel better. What are
Hmm.
some of the things that I should do?"
Um, what I would recommend, just kind of as general advice, and this is something I actually like to do with clients a lot, especially when they have a lot of worries or anxieties, is to make that process of worrying about things constructive. And it's called constructive worry. And what you do is you list out whatever your worries are. It doesn't matter how tiny or how insurmountable it might seem, just write it down, and then for each worry, then you kind of work through and find what the solutions are. So if you know what the solution is, great, write it down. If you don't know what the solution is, you can write that down. Just say, I don't have the answer to this problem at this time. Or if you know that you need other people to help you, then you write down the names of those people. But just kind of making use of the worry, so that it's not just these thoughts and these fears that are kind of turning over and over in your mind, day in and day out, and interrupting your sleep and your well-being. But that, when the thoughts kind of start to pick up again, that you can refer back, like, I've already worked through all of this, so tomorrow I'll start tackling it. But just to kind of get some of that out of your headspace, it just, also things like journaling can be really helpful. Yoga, stretching, walking, taking some time to just unplug. Don't sit with your phone in your hand glued onto social media 24/7. Try to keep some perspective. Remember that what other people are sharing a lot of the time is their highlight reel, and you're comparing it to your reality. So you might
Right.
just be seeing someone else's positives, and that might, be such a contrast from what you're experiencing day to day. So just focus on, the things that you can control, which are those, and trying to eat well, trying to exercise, trying to sleep, and try to keep some kind of balance or some sense of normality throughout it
Right.
all.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Those are
Hmm.
really good ideas. Also, I think when, like you're saying, when you watch a lot of TV or something, like I
Yes.
find like vegging out helps me sometimes
Mm-hmm.
because it just makes my mind stop, right? So I got
Yeah.
to focus on what I'm watching. But then
Mm-hmm.
I'll be careful that I'm going to watch something that's going to be happy,
Right.
as opposed to something that might be too complex or something that
Mm-hmm.
has a lot of angst in it. Like that to
Yes.
me is not going to help me. So it's not going to help me sleep. It's not going to help me feel better. So I'm always like
Right.
looking for, just some simple comedy or some
Mm-hmm.
happy family thing or some love thing or something that's just
Yeah.
like
Something lighter.
lighter.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. And so now I can just stop whatever is on my mind, and that's going to help me in that space. And
Yes.
then when I'm done, when I come out of that, so I like fall in love with like Netflix series that have like 5 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm looking at one season. No, I can't do that. No. Okay, this is what I'm going to do because I need something to be committed to.
Right.
And so they become kind of my family. They become like my people. So I'm able to
Mm-hmm.
keep up with Joe and Mary and Mary or whatever, and it's like, okay, I know they're kind of they're good for giving me that thing, and then they
Right.
solve their thing, and then you know what I mean.
You
So
get some
I know,
satisfaction from watching the character
yeah,
develop throughout the
exactly.
season and watching them overcome difficulties. And I
Exactly.
get it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then it helps me, and I don't have little children, right? So
Hmm.
uh, I have the time, but it helps me to kind of just to be inspired too. So I
Hmm.
like to be inspired by somebody, and I'll see like maybe the problem they're going through, but how they
Hmm.
solved it, and it's just like, and also like to watch foreign films.
Right.
So I'm watching like somebody from Ireland or somebody from Sweden. I love it because I
Hmm.
get to travel there in my
Yes.
mind.
Yeah, you get to experience the scenery and the language or the
Yeah.
dialect and learn a little bit maybe about their culture.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I'm not able to travel now, but I can
You can
travel
do it
through
mentally.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Hmm.
think yeah. So those are like good things also to just kind of keep in mind,
Yeah,
right?
definitely. Just kind of do what works for you, and
Yeah,
also to just remember to be compassionate and kind towards
to
yourself, not just
yourself.
others. Just be patient with yourself. You don't have to have it all figured out. Not every day is not going to be the best day ever. You show up one day and do your best. That might look a lot different than you showing up and doing your best the other day. So just extend some grace towards yourself and some compassion, and just do what you need to do to be well
Yeah.
during this time.
Yeah, and take your moment. Take your
Yes.
moments that you need.
Yeah,
Find
of
some time for
course.
yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Not compare yourself, like you said, to somebody's feed. Like to
Right.
see how they're living.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was getting mad too. That because I have like my sister, in Atlanta, my nieces. I have people
Mm.
that live abroad, and they're like at the mall. They're shopping. They're doing stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, how are you doing this? And then I have a friend who's traveling every week. She's somewhere else.
Oh
She's in St.
wow.
Croix
Yeah.
now. And so I'm like, what is going on? So I
Mm-hmm.
was starting to get frustrated with,
Mm-hmm.
how are you doing that and how are we not doing it?
Right, and
But
we're locked
then
down. Mm-hmm.
but then you see, and they'd never been locked down. Like in Georgia, they'd never been locked down.
Okay.
And so, but then they're experiencing some effects of that as well.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like, you're the luckier one, things that I'm like, you're saying that you're at the mall with the ice cream cone in your hand.
It's like
Yeah.
somehow I'm not believing you.
Yeah. Just drove your car to the
Right.
mall.
And here I am at home with all these mangoes that I can't figure out how to offload.
You're
Like,
the lucky one, Catherine. Like, shut up, please. So yeah, so but to just kind of put things in perspective, it is what it is.
mm-hmm.
This is where you are. How do you work through that, and how do
Yes.
you connect with what you need to connect with, and like you
Mm-hmm.
said, be patient with yourself. Breathe.
Yes. Breathing as
Lots of breath,
well. That is
lots of breaths.
incredibly powerful tool is breathing. It just helps to calm your nervous system down. A lot of the time the anxiety that we feel is physiological. It's our system is on go. They think, our body thinks that we're under some immediate threat or danger, and you taking the time to deep breathe helps to signal to your body like we're okay,
We're
like
good.
we're not facing any immediate danger. We can breathe, we can relax, and that's going to be so much more helpful and adaptive for you to slow the pace down a bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much for joining me today. The show is winding down. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. You're listening to Dr. Chelsea Walton from the Wellness Center, clinical psychologist, doing a lot of great things for our community. One of our young companions that's come back home to add to our amazing mental health. Uh, what is it, compliment,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Thank
Yeah,
you so much for having me. It was absolutely my pleasure to be here. And, if anyone at this time, just kind of leaving on this note, you're experiencing a hard time, reach out to other people that you have in your life, reach out to professionals. It is okay. That's what we're here for. And for those that are interested in the field of psychology, go ahead, do more research on it. We need more people from our community to get into into psychology and come back and give back and serve the community.
So, in having said that, tell them how what was your journey? If you can just tell them quickly, like what did your journey look like? Where did you start, and how long does it take? So people can know it's something that's doable. It's
Yes.
achievable.
Okay. Um, so I went to, actually all of my undergraduate and graduate education was in Florida, and so in the U.S., you would do 4 years of undergrad. So I did a Bachelor of Arts in psychology, and then from there, I decided to go straight into a doctoral program in clinical
Okay.
psychology. So that program is 5 years, and that includes 4 years of coursework and 1 year of full time internship.
Okay.
And then along the way too, you have practicas. You'll have opportunities to get clinical experience in the field, and then from there, it kind of depends on state to state. What you do after. If you want to do a postdoctoral degree, then you can go ahead and do that. But or postdoctoral experience, you can go ahead and do that. But that's kind of what the journey has been for me,
Right.
especially being educated in the US. It might look
Okay.
different in different jurisdictions.
Okay. So you've been in school for a long time. So it
Yes, I
feels good
was.
to but it's finished, huh? And you did it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep, it's
Time
it's
time
done.
goes.
It,
Time
it
goes.
it feels strange saying that, like it's a final thing, but it didn't feel like that during,
Right.
but the time does pass, and I can absolutely say that it was worth it.
Yep. And I think
Mhm.
it was too. Thank you so much.
You're
Welcome,
welcome.
welcome to the mental health community.
Thank
Welcome
you.
to the mental health field. Welcome to Cayman, your home. Thank you for
Feels
coming
good.
back. Thank you for contributing, for just being amazing and doing amazing stuff for us. And we love that. We love you. Congratulations. And
Thank you
thank you
so
so much for joining me this
much.
afternoon.
My pleasure.
You've been listening to Dr. Chelsea Walton, a clinical psychologist over at the Wellness Center. This is Catherine Tyson, and this was Wellness Wednesdays. Thank you so much for tuning in and tuning again tomorrow, and we'll talk to you then. Have a great ride home.